TF2 has a lot of classes, which all do different roles and perform better depending on different scenarios or on certain maps, which is something that is pretty well known about the game. But when it comes to games like this, which have the class-based shooter aspect, or really any format with characters that do different things, then the question of which class is the best will always stand mentioned. Now, in the case of TF2, there are classes listed by the community which are generally better than most, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the other classes are pointless, since really all of the classes have the ability to kill other players, which is an integral part of the game. With this in mind, it then raised another question to me. Which of the characters actually get the most kills? And does the community's ranking of each of them actually hold true to how the classes actually perform to, say, a typical casual match? Now, there isn't exactly a place you can go to actually get this kind of data of everyone's kills for each class. So I went out to get a sample of that data on my own, and here is how I did it. I played 18 games, or 2 games of each class, until the end of the map, which is when this scoreboard shows up, which displays the kills a particular player got, and which class they were playing when the game ended. Now, of course, I couldn't just take these kills without assuming a few things first that might add bias to the data, which we do not want. We want kill numbers as accurate as possible so that this question can be answered in full. The first of these, of course, is again that certain classes are more likely to appear on the map that the server is currently on. For example, Harvest will have a lot more scouts that are farming the people leaving from spawn, and Frontier will have 4 engineers on top of a building spamming taunts and defending a point of the map. With this in mind, the games that I was playing were evenly dispersed on this map pool right here, which is a nice combination of half King of the Hill maps, where both teams are on the offense, and other various modes with the team switching between offense and defense. The second of these was, of course, assuming that at some point someone had to have switched class. And what is great about recording your gameplay is the magic of rewinding it. So when it comes to players who were getting decent amount of kills on that finishing scoreboard, I would simply rewind back throughout the map to make sure that Pyrofan13 really was playing Pyro the entire time. Otherwise, their scores would not be added to the data. Now that all of you are sort of brought to level with what I've been doing for the past while, here is the data that I've collected, with each class listed from least to most kills, and why I think they stand in that position that they were placed in. Here, with all the research that I've done, is my answer to the question of which class in TF2 gets the most kills. Sitting at the bottom slot of the scores is a class that probably everyone was anticipating when a question like this comes around, which is Medic, standing at 83 kills, or 2.4 kills per person, which is actually a decent amount for a class who is supposed to be all about healing, and it's also quite fascinating to see that there were actually a decent amount of people playing the class, unlike how most people perceive Medic lanes. This class, though, is basically at the bottom because, as mentioned, he is mostly based around supporting his team and earning assists, really. And the only times that you will see someone playing this class earn kills is when he is finishing off a low health enemy who is taking on him and his team, or if no one else can kill that scout. Now, there are those that play a much more combative Medic playstyle, but I really didn't see much of that from the games that were recorded in this data, and because of that, it put everyone's favorite healer here at the bottom of the kill list. Which again, everyone probably saw that coming. Now for the other 8 classes, which all actually have the right tools used to kill, but the one which falls short the most compared to the others is Engineer, ranked 8th in general with 336 kills and 8.4 kills per person. Engineer just doesn't get as many kills since he spends much more time in a game doing other things to support the team, such as maintaining his buildings. Most of the kills that an Engineer will earn are from his sentry rather than his conventional weapons that are supporting the front with damage output or picking off targets entering the area behind your team. For the most part, Engineers are typically found at the top of scoreboards, not from the kills they acquire like most classes, but from the points earned by healing or teleporting teammates. Now, there are offensive Engineers, which are more focused towards earning some kills rather than his other utilities, and that is where I found most of the kills for this class got their score from. But even then, an engineer can only shoot so many bullets once his sentry is killed. Other than that though, for a class that I still consider to hold a more supportive role in the game and is also much more reserved than the other classes, his performance is still pretty good. Next in 7th place is actually the Heavy, at 310 kills and 10 kills per person. Yeah. So what, you're telling me the 300 health size of a door killing machine is 7th? Yeah, and actually there's a pretty good reason for it too. You see, while yes, Heavy does have the potential to absolutely mow down waves of enemies and is able to hold down an area well, there are a few things that Heavy needs in order for him to reach his maximum potential. Whether it's from playing around the map surrounding health packs or his teammates, is needed since Heavy takes so much damage from enemies. As well as when a Heavy is killed, if there is a lot of travel time between where the fight is taking place, he also needs some sort of quick way to get there, otherwise he's kind of just going to be doing the conga around the map for the better half of a round. When all of these things are available though to a Heavy, they have the potential to reach great amounts of kills and can really do good things for a team. So why does Heavy have such little kills compared to other classes if he's so good at earning them? Well, it's not exactly the class itself that's the issue, but rather, even though I don't think this way myself, a lot of people think that Heavy is really boring. This translates pretty well to the fact that, even though he is a strong class, Heavy was the least played by miles compared to the others from the score, which is from there not being much appeal for the class. And I get that, he's kind of just the stationary guy and shoots his big gun until there's no bullets left. And this is why, unlike the other classes, the reason he doesn't earn as many kills isn't because of him, it's because of what people think of him. So although he was short for the scores in this video, let this be a reason to not only thank your support classes when you see them, but thank your Heavies too, man. You know, they're out there getting headshot and backstabbed, like, give them some appreciation. Sniper is a very good class with the power to earn efficient kills. With 339 kills, only 3 more than Engineer, or a 9.16 kills per person, but one of the primary factors that change the results of this class's kill count is the time that it takes from each of the kills he earns. Snipers have to play around whatever they can see within the sightline, which, unless they're sniping on GM Flatgrass, takes a bit of time, as well as him needing to also charge his shots in order to actually take out a high health target with 1 bullet. As well as this, the Sniper also has the highest skill ceiling by far of any class, and if you are missing a lot of your bullets, then it is likely that it will heavily affect the amount of kills that you are getting in the long run when playing this class. So, after many missed bullets, and the Sniper playing his role as a pick class more than an actual power class in the game, this is the reasoning why such a powerful class like Sniper finds himself in the bottom half of the list. Right in the middle at number 5, we have Pyro at 421 kills, which is a lot, or 8.42 kills for each person, which isn't that much. Pyro, although he isn't exactly the most powerful of the classes, he reached this rank simply because a lot of people play him. And he does have good potential, especially on modes such as King of the Hill, to solo out specific targets and go for easy kills. I don't know if it's because a lot of people deem him to be much easier than most of the other classes in the game, or if people really do think that Pyro is that fun to play. But the sheer amount of Pyro players there are really tipped how many kills Pyro has gotten. And again, you know, when you have a class that can spam as easily as a Pyro, I guess I can see how you can get a lot of kills really quickly. At number 4, we have Demo Man, who's just under the 400 kill mark at 398 kills, or 9.95 kills per person. He is a really good class at achieving high kills because of the fact that he technically owns not 1, but 2 whole primary weapons, and he's one of the only classes that has this. This guy can just keep shooting explosives, and that is why he can get so many kills. I notice a lot more Demo Men playing the Demo Knight playstyle and just running around with a shield and a sword, than those who are actually opting with the original way that Demo Man was meant to be played. If just a few more people clicked on Demo Man and really started to use a lot of his weapons with the ways that they were intended to, a Demo Man would definitely reach at least top 2 for the power that he has and the weapons that he holds. But other than that, I still respect those Demo Knights out there. You keep doing your thing. Delman, 4th place. At number 3 is a class that a lot of you probably didn't see coming, but I did, is Spy. At only 362 kills, which isn't too much, but 10.05 kills per person, which is a pretty impressive number. This was a position for the Spy that was very satisfying to me, not only because I enjoyed the class myself, but also because I do think it somewhat suits him. Now, a lot of people would disagree because they think he's one of the weakest classes in the game, which, you know, I can see that. Yes, he is not very good, but in the aspects of casual, I think that rather than looking at the class's performance being depicted by how bad people perceive him to be, they should depict it by how the person playing the class actually is at the Spy. The performance of a Spy will drastically change depending on how good the Spy does, you know? If a person who is decent at Spy plays him, they in turn will get a decent amount of kills. Whereas those who absolutely master him, so not me, will be dominating servers. Even though there weren't as many spies as I thought there would be, he still reaches this position because of how many top level spies were in the games that I was playing. In number 2, we have Soldier. This was not a surprise, who has 533 kills, which is 10.45 kills per person. The reason this wasn't much of a surprise to me is because Soldier is just the general GOAT of the game. He is good at pretty much everything you need Soldier to be good at. You know, he's tanky, he does good damage from any range, he has great weapons, he has great speed with his rocket jumping. There is very little negative things to say about the class, and that is why I feel like the class succeeds so well, and why so many people play Soldier. Not only is he really fun, because of the things that you could do with him, but because it's pretty easy to do very well with him because of the tools that he has to earn a lot of kills. That is why seeing Soldier in 2nd is not surprising, and why a lot of people would agree with the spot that he is in this list. Number 1, the class that gets the most kills, Scout. At 589 kills. It wasn't even close! It wasn't even close! And 11.11 kills per person. The thing about Scout is if you get good as him, you can do pretty much whatever you want with him. You know, he is very speedy, which allows him to take control of areas very fast. Another reason why Scout probably reached this amount of kills, like the guy almost doubled how many kills Heavy had, is because of how many people play Scout. He is such a popular class, and that is why Scout has the most. Not only because he's good, but because he's popular. Now, there are tons of ways, though, that this data could have been organized, which would probably change the list, and there'd be much different methods that could be used to achieve this level of general data. And, like, even if I played another 18 games, the data would probably be very different, too. But one thing to realize, this video is merely for the purpose of entertainment, rather than proving a specific class is better than the others. Though it was quite fascinating to see that, for the most part, a lot of the opinions based on how the community ranks the actual power of each class actually does hold well compared to the data. But remember that just because Scout gets the most kills doesn't mean that he's the unfiltered best class in the game, and just because Heavy doesn't get as much kills in comparison, that doesn't mean he's a bad class in any manner. In fact, I think he's actually really good. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really do appreciate all of the support that I've been getting with my videos recently. I really did not think that something I did on YouTube, again, would get as much attention as it's gotten from people in the community, and it was awesome in my last video especially to have, you know, gone to the comments section and seen all of the things that people were saying were good, all of the different perspectives I saw on the topic of the video, and it was so great to interact with you guys, and again, thank you so much for allowing me to have an experience like that on YouTube. I wanted to welcome all of the new subscribers. Again, thank you for subscribing, and I will see you all in the next silly little video I make. Bye-bye.